something they want to be a part of, but that piece control and the peaks, the shots on the defensive end are huge for Chimp and Scram, because now that put that fear into Peppa and Runa. Do we continue to fight this off? Do we continue to lose health? As it looks like they're even trying to keep their distance.
Yeah, Chimp doing an excellent job defending here, but you know, a refresh would be even better in this instance, but the pressure comes in, he loses his shield, and they are starting to run out of gas here. Robob and Walks walk up to the wall. They say, hey, Chimp, we thought we forgot about you. But no, too much pressure from Runa and Peppo, and they leave the damage to them. And they go ahead and take this as a small W to Scrim. Really left to defend himself here. He's doing an excellent job.
This is going to be interesting right now, because everybody tried to disengage in a moment. But at the same time, they're so close together, there's only so much you can do. But Runa, he takes a huge amount of damage. They got to figure out a way to stabilize right here. But Chimp and Scram, they know so many teams are around. They don't want to bite up more than they can chew. They don't want to put themselves in a position they might later regret, as the shots are still coming in. Scram goes down. Chimp under siege. He's trying to figure out a way to survive. He has no builds left to his name. Rabab Kebab as well. Every single one of these players are now going to be stuck in zone.
This is crazy. Runa and Peppo start to fight back. They have the shield chug there, and it's going to allow them to go ahead and heal back up. And now they run in to the zone, hunting for Robot. Peppo's like, no, I want this fight. Robot plays the low ground. Runa comes to support, and all of a sudden he is trapped like a mouse chasing cheese, and it might just be all over here. 10 HP, moments are ticking. Runa's down, he's hurt, but Wax falls first, and Peppo gets the first elimination there for his duo.
1 HP for Runa.
Whoa.
He got the med miss to stay alive. Can they... Okay, there's another rift there. I was going to say, I thought they were going to get the rift in time, but there's another rift there. Not too much to worry about for them. But every one of those teams that were fighting there that might not be the most healthiest are still going to have to go through Pam, Stu, and Fetch. But on board, Belusi and Hyjo, they're feeling good. They got themselves a spot in the zone.
Yeah, and you know what? This is a perfect time to catch up with Vivid with a mid-game analysis.
Guys, the action is popping off so much so that we missed the fight over here at Chrome Crossroads. Alex and Bailey haven't had the best of starts to the day, but Game 5 here, they find these 2 early eliminations, and we know that they love to play the high ground. We want to show you guys these reactions. They're so happy to find this as well. The dances come out. We'll have to see what type of momentum this uses for them.
Excellent. And now we jump over with PH, Zen, and Kitos, who are sitting up on high ground, you know, hands off the desk, relaxing right now, just soaking in what an exceptional day it has been for them. They have played so well, and the zone is now going their way, so for the first time, we have this zone pulling far northwest. This is the backyard of King, Ed, Merim, of course, and Zagu here. Excellent players up top.
This could be actually a recipe for success for the Asian powerhouse, the Japanese team, to kind of take a big game and take up that first place spot right back. They're right now in center zone. They have the highest elevation in the lobby, and a couple teams all around in case Storm Surge does become a problem. As Commandment and Avery over still towards Rave Cave. They have Launchpad to use. They have enough rotation. So they're going to be one of the last teams to leave the spot altogether.
And again, just excellent. Commandment and Avery coming off of Victory Royale, zone pulling their way. This is a perfect recipe to take that momentum and bring it on home. So we are watching several teams now literally catch a little bit of that favor in the feed. Hellfire finds Booga, and down he goes. Trouble in Chonkers down south. That's that late zone rotate, and that is what happens when the zone pulls far north. You could do your little dead side western rotates, but at the end of the day, there are players waiting there too. It's just textbook reads.
Oh, I saw in the feed there just a few seconds ago, Queasy and Vino, they were able to get a knock on to, I think it was Merim or Zagu there for a moment. Are they going to be able to kind of run up and clean it up? I think they got the elimination altogether.
Now keep in mind, Marine coming into that last game, they were in first and second tied leading, and they have fallen to fifth. So this is a huge opportunity here.
That's where you take it into your own hands, take full control of that one. And you can see he was just out of position. You cannot be out of position in a lobby like this. That is what it's going to be a decision you regret for the rest of your life. But Merim, we see Zagu pick up a ton of points as a solo last game. Now it's Merim's turn to return the favor.
And you see what he does here. He recognizes, hey, wait a second.
That's scary.
Vito and Queasy might know I am the solo. I think I've been outed. Let me defend myself to the west and put all of my focus on Vito and Queasy so they do not sneak up. Excellent plays right there. Just smart play. We're seeing what Asia is capable of. Meanwhile, Seti, Cammy, inside the storm. This is their home territory. Dead center, more or less on the split. And now they get to hit that rotate.
PH Zin and Kitos from Brazil. We talked about them, 186 below the damage threshold, but they're a team that can pop off at a moment's notice. They have the most eliminations on players in the top 10 on 6. Look at that stat, flies up right when I'm going to read it right there. But the 189 below the damage threshold, that is so concerning for me, but it looks like Minton and Arthur are closing the distance. They might be below as well. This is between two teams, two powerhouses trying to land big shots. PH Zin loses his teammate, 2v1 situation. Arthur and Mixon trying to get into the box.
This is the first time we see PH Zin lose his teammate this early in the game. This is a huge development for him. And notice the problem is he didn't quite get to the zone early enough. And Z, Andy, and Joe capitalize on that solo opportunity. And PH Zin falls. And now they have a chance to fall down the standings here quite substantially. This is really beginning to open up and become much more interesting. And let's not forget, 5th place again is Mareem, left by himself as well. So this is the second game now too where the Japan duo is struggling here.
Yeah, and you can see outside of zone, 270 above damage threshold, and this is exactly the plays that you have to make, especially on a team that's looming into the distance. Basil in a 1v2 situation, he tries to peek and take a shot, but 2 prime shotguns are better than 1. They take him down in a blink of an eye. Baka trying to carry that momentum from the early game, but only 62 above the damage threshold. That's something that is looming in the back of their mind, and they haven't even left Chrome Jam Junction all game long.
That is true. And they have King and Ed, some of the regional dangerous fighters right there. We saw what Ed can do. He took out 2 of EU's finest by himself inside the storm while being pressured. Snacky returns a huge favor onto Duke there, so down he goes as Clicks managed to find a trade too. So for them, it's still a tough situation, and even worse story unfolding here as Merstash and Malibuka are being lobby focused by Clicks on the rotate now. So all around, tough spot to be in here. Merstash barely holds on and survives in, so no knock there. That could be the difference maker.
Thomas got 2 on the Hen and Vortex, not just 1. You see Fabs trying to reunite with Snacky. Malibuka and Merstash also in the distance. For them, that shield keg was absolutely needed, especially since they're only 67 above the damage threshold.
Oh, but I was just going to say, soon we might have to turn our focus to Peppo and Runa. They find Clicks right above Snacky and through. Cammy and Seti put the shield bubble on the boat, and they are gone with a clean rotate right up the river. That is just a 500-head play. Look at the play right here. We absolutely love to see these crazy strategies play out, and there's a reason they are up at the top.
This is just outside of the box thinking at its finest. That is the freest rotation I think we'll see all weekend long. And they're only 85 below the damage threshold. That's not much at all.
No, they're below. They don't have heals. This is a very tough spot to be in for Cammy and Seti as they have a true chance to once again break away with a big lead here. But they are, you know, fighting with one hand tied behind their back.
Peterbot, shields get dropped. Clown finally goes down. Huge siphon for Peterbot. Like I just said, his shield just got dropped. Now you're looking at a short pad from Refsguard trying to make it into zone. As soon as Peterbot hears that, he might try to recycle it, but nobody wants to leave this one just yet. 195 above. Peterbot ready for any challenge. Refsguard goes up and over around each other, and it does look like this might be the moment. They got blessed. Now they're going to try and disengage.
Now, when it comes down to N8 East players that know how to fight, Peterbot is one of the few that represent by doing the work, not the talking. He is one of our most leading elimination leaders on the NA East region in general. So for Refsguard to make the rotate out is an excellent decision there, but he is met with Pantsu and Fatch firing directly inside. But we jump on over to Cammy and Seti. The story continues here. They need a tag. They need more than that. Kanata opens the box. They look to fire back. Nothing comes out of it. And now they say, hey, we got to get to these boxes. Maybe it's more important. Maybe it'll be easier to box fight. But Cammy falls to Bad Sniper. And it's up to Seti to do it all. Can he get pretty much a full elim worth of damage here? Oh, no.
mean to curse him. Luckily for him, no more. He instantly goes down. I was going to talk about the launch pads, the push game to shove, but now Joe and Z-Andy found 2 more launch pads and so much room to work with as Malibuca and Mustache. 2 eliminations. No shield to work with. I would say not much, but none at all to work with as Fast gets one on the swag as well. Malibuca and Mustache, they are in the most congested side of the map right now. They're going to need everything they got to try to stay alive other than that launch pad. But with no shields on Mustache, that could be a risky play.
And what's crazy, remember, Cammy and Seti falling. They were in first place, 11-point lead over Trippard and Thomas. Third place of PA, Jin, and Kitos. We already talked about them just being completely devastated there. And here's the updated standing. Thomas, HD, and Trippard have a chance to catch up. Smite and Larson, Vino and Queasy as well. This is such a competitive FNCS Invitational if we've ever seen one, especially after just 4 games, and now the 5th is unfolding before our eyes.
Top of the leaderboard, stacked like pancakes in a Waffle House right now. It's Thomas and Trippard, 2 eliminations at the edge of zone. And right now, there's so many teams on the outskirts. They can continue to peek and just put so much pressure on the lobby before they figure out what's next. The choices are definitely there. You see Acorn and Edgy, they're sitting clean. They found themselves a nice spot. Belusi and Hydro as well. Not too many teams on this side of the map, and this is what we would call the slower side, to where you don't have too much to worry about, especially if you're Acorn and Edgy and you're 676 above the damage threshold. That allows you that flexibility, that allows you options to pick and choose. Do you want to go ahead and put pressure on another team? Do you want to rotate around the map? The choice is now theirs. But a team that might not have those same choices is Malibuca and Mustache. They're only 105 above. We talked about the lack of resources that they have. So they're going to have to figure out something here. And you know as well as I do, they're going to have to look for a siphon. They're going to have to look for a refresh. They're going to have to look for a team to catch off guard and really pounce on them.
Let's see if they can do just that. 87 damage. It's good, but it's not good enough. Potentially here, 6 players are the difference between this surge continuing to stay online and turning off. Here it is, 3 seconds before the reveal. They're going to take the fight against Alex and Bailey. Alex and Bailey are multi-FNCS champions of the OCE region. Mustache and Malibuca looking to step up to this huge challenge here. Gotta be careful though, this is what they love to do! And a great tag here. This is why Mustache and Malibuca are some of the best. The Chrome Shield comes down though, and that'll buy them some time.
And right now, Storm Surge taking out a lot of these teams. If you get your shields cracked, they will hear it and they will go. As Malibuca or Mustache, they know the position that they're in. It's all or nothing because you can't make it too much farther with the resources that you have. Alex goes down. Or takes down Threat. Mustache and Malibuca, they're going to be the ones that get all the loot because of it. As Baka and Onwin trying to stay alive, they're trying to protect what's theirs.
And they do just that. They get a little bit for their efforts, not much, but they're alive, and they've done some damage. They've defended the territory, and everyone backs up. Let's take a wider look here. Fadil has to give up the high ground. Everyone's making a rotate. Thomas, HD, and Trippard still a launch pad in the bag as they get to half and half out. This is excellent. Such an excellent position to be in. Switches over to the hard material, and they fortify up and branch out. What? And a play here just to even play for territory, to open up the domain right now.
Malibuca and Mustache met their demise. Both King and Hellfire getting an elimination each, taking out one of EU's exciting teams is Queasy and Vino. Another exciting team coming in with all the momentum in the world, winning an EU Elite Cup, winning the NA East Elite Cup Finals back-to-back in the same day.
Great.
If that's not what you call preparation, I don't know what is.
And they're showing us why they're up at the top right now. And they are taking advantage. A northwest zone is excellent for a team like Vino and Queasy. They find Anas down low. That's going to be their 4th elim. Pink does not stand a chance if they decide to focus together, but it's more important for them to maintain the position right now. And this zone's going far. It's going to cut back towards Acorn and Edgy side. Scented and Cold have more of a dominant rotate here. And this is all shaping out to be a great game.
Look at that mountain. They got to go down the hill and then back up the hill. This is literally going to be a roller coaster ride of an end game. And if you don't have a launch pad, if you don't have chrome splashes, I wish you best of luck.
Well, we do know if you do, Cold and Scented go ahead and put the chrome splashes to the use here, to the test. And they jump right over that bush and into it. It's going to be a great spot. Meanwhile, everyone else takes to the high ground. Peppo finds an elim, and Yumi is going to fall there too. He is the victim of the loot that we are watching get sniped up by Larson and Smite here.
You know, they called it though. They called it's gonna start at the drop spot of Grim Gables. They take out Mud and Looter and they keep things going. Repscar peaks at the right time. Finds the shots on the cool. Another elimination going over. And this could be a moment for him to remember for the rest of his days if he can continue to clutch up big like that as Joe and Z-Andy trying to be the first team on the day to win 2 victory royales.
And Smite and Larson are still in the game as well. Vino and Queasy have the high ground. Queasy manages to crank his way on up, and that is what you call a well-executed launch pad play there to keep them in the run here, but there's still more points that they have to close out. Here goes Smite. He's going to go for the pad play. Z-Andy and Joe get to the front side of zone now, and they rotate their way on out as well, and this is coming back off, way off the height. This is such a tough and just honestly difficult zone to play.
The Epic Games Fortnite roller coaster continues yet again. Down the mountain, up the mountain. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a loop-de-loop come through as Repguard's trying to catch one off guard, but it's he who gets caught off guard by Z-Andy.
And just like that, he is down and out. Trippin and Thomas HD, we get to get a little temperature check with them. They are on the mid-ground, right above Scented and Cold. Smite loses Larson on the rotate, and he is now left by himself. Just places away from 10th here. Can he hold on? Peppo does enough, but not enough to beat Vortexter. Here's Onwin and Baka. They had made such an excellent use of surviving their drop spot. Joe finds Noah. Down he goes, and Joe's hurt. 20 HP. This is not looking good.
Quick moving, quick thinking, trying to get out, but he gets caught at the tail end. It's Queasy and Vino. Zone after zone after zone. No matter where this roller coaster went, they stayed on top. Baka loses Onwin, but he takes down Fast. Back up against the wall. He gets 2. Baka gets 2. 7 eliminations for the NA West
And he
duo.
has shown you how good he is and why he deserves to be here, even when he is counted out. He is showing up, but hold up. Scented, Cold now, back in the mix here. They already have done one, but can they get another? But Grolls and Rifty are showing they finally have an end game, and they are making big do with it. There's a third elim. 30 points already earned in this round. Baka fights back, but Cold and Scented get to get all that sweet loot.
Yep, towards the low ground, along with Thomas HD and Trippram. This one is going to get messy for everybody that's stuck down low. But for Vino and Queasy, they have the elevation. They have a huge advantage. Plenty of mats to work with. That's a recipe for success. But it's up to Cold and Scented and a few other teams to try to take down the high ground team.
And don't forget, Trippert and Thomas, who had a 10-point lead, is still here as well. Thomas HD wants more, though. Down goes Grolls, and they are closing the gap. But he loses teammate. He's going to fall. Top 3 now. Scented is still in the mix here, in the conversation, but no build. Big shot comes in from up top. And all of a sudden now, it is looking so dicey. Queasy is just waiting.
Waiting for that perfect opportunity. They have the high ground. They drop down low. The game is theirs after they take down Bevy. That is game number 5, sealed up by Vino and Queasy.
And the biggest game we've seen so far in terms of elims, coupled with a victory royale. Huge 11-piece pickup right there for Vino and Queasy. Now think back to that interview when they sat there. Vino, very nonchalantly, hands behind his back. He said, "We are the best, undoubtedly."
As EU takes yet another game. Honestly, this was the hottest team coming in to the FNCS Invitational. NA East, EU wins. And in that reign as well, they won about like 5 games in a row, I think. That's impressive.
That is right. Vino and Queasy are coming off some of the hottest streaks we have ever seen, and they managed to maintain that momentum. Let's just go ahead and tune in and see what's going on in their minds.
Yes, that's right. I'm here with your Game 5 winners, Queasy and Vino! Queasy, fantastic work there. Eliminations, an extraordinary end to game number 5.
Yeah. What else is there to say?
What else is there to say? I mean, the competition has been great to you guys today. You've had unbelievable work thus far. Scored a lot of points in this competition. How much are you enjoying your time here as well?
A lot, to be fair. It's amazing. Like, the atmosphere and everything is just sick to be here.
Yeah, and we saw as well, you know, we saw that obviously the storm moved up mountains, down again. How integral is resource material management in situations like that?
It's very important, but it's also great getting refreshes. Me and Queasy got good refreshes. We kept our mats alive. We used our splashes well. We played that game really well.
Now you've got one game left today before we kind of pull the curtain down on day number 1. You seem to be feeling confident. You seem very laid back. Has it been a competition you expected, or has there been other things at work here that you didn't expect coming into this?
The Asia team surprised me.
Yeah.
They've been doing really good. Brazil's been doing good. NE's not so good. But I think everyone's doing good, you know. And the competition's been good. No one's really been on high ground. And it's going well for us.
And you guys delivered the goods. One more time, give it up for Queasy and Vino, your Game 5 winners! Let's head back to Zeke.
Cool, calm, collected, and memes. That is also how I live my life sometimes, occasionally. Queasy and Vino, we've watched them come so close to the top several times now, right? Almost making it, taking high grounds at those pivotal moments, but it hasn't quite lined up perfectly. And now that it does, it's not even just the victory royale. It's also the 11 eliminations they put on the board.
Look, all day they've been trying to set themselves up for this match. We saw it in the beginning of this tournament today. I mean, they were going for high ground, they were going for the setup, but they just had these little mistakes that didn't permit them to get it. But now, they showed why they are one of the fan favorites coming into this tournament to take it home. The first duo to reach more than double-digit elims. They had 11 total eliminations, and it's what you love to see.
You know what? It doesn't happen by accident either. These guys have definitely seen some progression throughout today. We saw it in the previous game. We saw them go down to Surge. It wasn't ideal for them. This time, though, we saw them rotate all the way up towards those rifts, towards the top left, the very northwest side of the map, and they were aggressive. They were looking for those eliminations. Instead of sitting on those blimps, on those balloons at their drop spot, they were looking to be aggressive for Surge, and it paid off. We saw them take high in that 50-50 zone, of course. I think Queasy had about, I don't even know how many mats, he had about 1,000 materials going into that second moving as well, so he's looking great.
Absolutely. We also have Kelly, who is standing by to chat with some more players. Kelly, over to you.
Joining me right now, I am with Thomas and Tripper, and the team that is currently in second place on our leaderboard right now. How are you feeling about that?
Yeah, I'm feeling really good. We just need to keep on going, being consistent, and we'll make it.
Yeah, obviously consistency is the name of the game right now. You guys had a great Game 5, but how do you make that into a VR?
I don't know, like, we played mid ground most of the game. I think we should either commit it to high ground or low ground to win the game, but we're just playing for consistency, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, and obviously consistency is working for you guys. You are doing a great job on the leaderboard. Good luck in the Game 6. Guys, let's head on back to the desk.
Thank you so much, Kelly. Shout outs to Thomas HG and Tripper, and they are currently holding strong in second place. And if you look at that little dash, that means they've not gone anywhere, right? And I do want to highlight them for just a single moment. 2 games back, we watched Malabuka go on an absolute tear, but then Tripper said, nah, son, this is my lobby, take a seat, and that's how they're still holding strong. We have to kind of talk about the top 10 here, right? With only a single game left to go, we're setting ourselves up for tomorrow, right? And Thomas HG and Tripperin, they're looking real good.
I mean, they're looking more than good, Zeke. Queasy and his duo partner were in the first place spot, but second place, that's Thomas Tripperin, and they are playing so well. Just looking at their highlights here, they're setting themselves up for the late game, and just now with the interview with Kelly, you saw they're still always thinking, right? What can change? What can we adapt to? How can we play better? How can we take home that trophy?
Yeah, and these are 2 very, very talented solo players. For those that don't know the region very well, of course, Trippin and Thomas. Those guys are incredible solo players. We've seen solo clutch after solo clutch from both of them in the Elite Cups, in the Cash Cups leading before that, and they are just a dynamic duo when things go well. Sometimes things can be a little bit difficult for them when they do get split up. You know, they have to rely on the other person. We've seen that a little bit throughout the Elite Cups this season, but they're bringing it all together now, and oh boy, is it looking good.
I also want to talk about Smite and Larson. This is a duo coming from NA East, right? And they have 5 total FNCS Finals appearances together. Now, it's a lot, but it's also the fewest out of any NA East duo competing here today. But that is not showing, because even though they have the fewest FNCS Finals appearances, they're in the top 3 right now in this event.
That's right. Everyone currently is looking, right, to just try and say, okay, look, the first 6 games, we just want a strong footing as we go into those next 6 games tomorrow. I guarantee you there's strategies, little things that these players are holding on to for those last 6 games. I do want to turn our attention back to the standings. We continue to kind of go top to bottom here, Mini Miner. Obviously, Queasy and Vino, massive, right, to now jump up into first place, up by 5 spots after that game. if it happens again, we could be in trouble.
We could be in trouble, and I think the rest of the lobby could be in trouble as well, because you don't want Queasy and Vino to be playing as good as they are. It'll sort of form together for them in that final game that we just saw right there. So if they're on form, they can definitely make a push for the top.
Yep, that's right. Kelly, you are standing by with some more players. Let's hear it.
That is right. I am joined here by Ed and King, our Brazilian region players right now. You can already hear the audience going crazy for you guys. Ed, I know that you recently got announced that you are represented by Team Liquid. How are you feeling about that?
Como você está se sentindo que você está sendo representado pelo time Liquid?
Eu me sinto incrível porque é time que eu sempre quis entrar e eu me sinto muito realizado de estar na Team Liquid.
I'm really excited to be in this team, and I always dreamed of being in it, so I'm really excited about it.
And I'm sure they're proud of you. Thank you so much. And then, of course, King, you've been around since the World Cup days. What is it like to be back here on the stage?
¿Cómo te sientes estar de vuelta acá?
Para português ou espanhol? Okay. A verdade é uma experiência incrível. Eu não tinha sei lá, uns 3 anos quase. E voltar a jogar lá é uma experiência muito boa e vamos tentar dar o melhor.
I'm really incredibly excited to be here. I mean, it's been about 3 years, and I'm excited to be back.
I mean, I know that Argentina and Brazil are proud of you guys right now. Thank you for joining me with a quick interview, and let's head on back to the desk.
I don't know if you guys can pick up the hype coming through these mics from everyone who's repping Brazil, but every time you see King, you guys are allowed to get hyped. That's cool. I see y'all up in that corner.
Yeah.
That's right. Ed and King signed. They're holding up the flag. You love to see it. Now, really quickly, as we gear up for game number 6, we come back to the standings, right? Currently, we see Cammy and Seti, they keep kind of ping-ponging, right? They have a really strong game, then they have a game where they, funnily, throw a shield bubble on a boat. One of the funniest things I think I've ever seen, but then can't transition that because of the shambles positioning. So what has kind of been happening?
I mean, it's Fortnite, right? It's hard to predict what's going to happen next because you have so many opponents changing their playstyle and adapting to the same match you're in. But knowing Cammy and Seti, they know how to deal with it, right? They can adapt stronger than their opponents that they're facing against, and it's all about doing it in the most effective way possible.
Yeah, Storm Surge for this duo at the moment is kind of a little bit of a problem, of course. So many teams that I noticed they were fighting on the edge of zone. Not many teams are rotating in early on enough. And I think that makes Cammy and Seti run into a few issues, right? Because they're, of course, landing in a very central position. They rely on a lot of teams rotating into their domain to get their Storm Surge. Of course, we saw it with the boat rotate as well, the boat-tate as we call it. We can call it that. But yeah, they were looking strong. But of course, when you have that shield bubble, you can't shoot out as well. So they were lacking on the surge tags in that end game. And unfortunately, they didn't quite have the answers. They got a little bit desperate. Things didn't work out too well. Seti, I was hoping that he would solo clutch, but wouldn't quite happen.
That's right, and it's okay, right? It's fine. We're still sitting in top 5. Everything is okay. We've got 1 game left to go. With a single game left, what are some adaptations we're hoping to see? Because remember, this is it for the day, and then we have all night to VOD review. We go back to the hotel, we try and get more games in, we talk to our coaches, our duo mates, etc., and come back stronger tomorrow.
Look, you said it yourself, right? It's 1 game, but it's really 7 games left, right? This is the last game of the day and 6 more to be played out tomorrow. This last match is just about doing it the best you can, and when you're really going to be reviewing, studying, seeing what you can change up is going to be overnight for day 2.
Yeah, this is such an important game for these teams, right? Especially if you're looking for a little bit of a change-up. So for these teams that are thinking, you know what, let's try and change things up in day 2, this is the time. This is the time to test things out, because what better practice than the lobbies themselves? I mean, we saw it with Vico and Marine as well, of course, landing at the Tilted Towers area. They've sort of shifted their rotation over towards the reality tree. We saw them fighting out there, of course, Vico doing so well to close out those eliminations on the team that were landing there, and they're switching things up, and they're a prime example of a team that's thinking, you know what, things aren't quite working out at Tilted. As we know, it's a bit busy, so let's switch things up, let's go to the reality tree, and that's ultimately what these teams are hopefully going to be doing tonight.
That's right. A lot of these duos, man. Look at them. Look at the focus. They're waving to the camera, which we love and appreciate. But they are lasered in. They're thinking to themselves. They understand, right? With 1 game left, okay, what are the things we need to do to accomplish? What do we need to just kind of say, look, this is it. We left our mark, and we can walk away happy. I think for me, Zago and Meram, like this team that we saw pop off, they've kind of gone a little bit radio silent. What do we think's happening here?
I mean, we've seen them. They've been having a bit of trouble doing enough damage or even staying close together. I've seen 2 times now, one of them, Merrim was left alone, and the other is Zagu was left alone, having their duo partner get eliminated. So I'm not sure if it's because they're not playing together enough, if rotates have changed from their opponents and it's cutting them off while they're trying to get to zone.
Yeah.
There's a lot of possibilities, but they really have to focus on seeing what went wrong after those initial matches and see what they can change going into day 2.
They were trying, though. Of course, they made a really, really solid rotation up towards that Rifts area. They had just the best position on the map. And as you mentioned, Takata, they were a little bit split, right? They didn't quite execute it to perfection. Of course, Queasy and Veno, they decided, you know what, let's just take them out. We'll take this position. And ultimately, that's what won them the game. But it's just a little bit of confidence, maybe a little bit dropping potentially with this duo. We saw it early on. The aggression was what made them so impressive. So that set them apart from the rest of the teams here, and that were really, we admired it, right? We admire their confidence in fighting. Maybe now they're thinking, actually, maybe we need to tone it down a little bit, when in fact, keep it up, you know, keep up that aggression, because if you're toning it down, you're not getting the Storm Surge tanks, you're not getting the damage that you need to make it to endgame. Guys, I want to see more of their aggression.
Yeah, and honestly, they're kind of reminding me of a Queasy and a Vino, right? Like, they're doing what Queasy and Vino are doing. You watch on the high ground, you're like, okay, Queasy's up there. If there's one person up there, they're tarping, they're not doing anything, and then suddenly there's someone knocking on your wall like, hi, it's me, Vino. I'm just going to pick up both of you. Thanks. Like, they are capable of this, so I'm not ready to count them out. I think, like you're saying, there's maybe just a couple things they need to shore up, and then they're going to get right back to it, right? Is there anybody else you guys are seeing that you're like, maybe I want to see more of this duo. I want to see more of that duo?
Look, I was looking at the birthday boy, right? Mr. Savage, who had an incredible solo clutch in a late game, but directly after got taken off out of the spawn, right? Baka and On1 eliminated both players there, but I kind of saw the flames in his eyes, right? Mr. Savage was getting ready. He was feeling good, and I'm hoping that he can come out on top in one of these next early games and show what he's really made of.
Yeah, he's got that experience, right, of in-person events, and you can sort of see it in the swagger, the way he plays. Like, you know what? I've been here before. I mean, look, quick flex, cool. I want to be like him. I don't know what it is. He's just so cool, and it's reflecting his gameplay as well. He is really taking the game to storm. He is really popping off in the end game. He's performing, and he's not showing any signs of nerves. He's really just 2v1ing. We're seeing 2v1s. We're seeing some crazy clutches, and that's what you need. At this level, you need to have those individual pop-offs, because without it, you can't make your way to the top of the level.
And on screen right now, we've got Reet and Epic Whale. In case you didn't know, Epic Whale, a 6-time FNCS champion, paired up with Reet, who's on controller, representing controller gang. We have, this duo has actually been pretty quiet, right? Over in NA West, we've seen, you know, it's a much slower game overall, and a slower meta. And now, when we're trying to get way more aggressive, it feels like Reet and Epic Whale maybe need to kick it up too, slow.
I mean, I'm wondering what's happening, because I was watching this duo practice, right? In the player lounge, they were prepping themselves, getting ready for this tournament. And in the scrims, right, in the practice matches, they were 3, 4, even 5 elims in the mid game before the late game even started. They were playing aggressive, and they were doing it right against the opponents they're competing against today. So I'm wondering what happened, but we'll have to see if they adapt for day 2.
That's right. Really quickly, hanging out in the player lounge, we've got Adam Savage standing by.
You have indeed here, Zeke, but I am joined by the one and only Cease, everybody! Cease, we've talked so much about you in the past. You know, it's great to see you here at the competition. How has it been for you? One of our backup players this weekend. How great has it been to be around the crowd, the players? How much have you enjoyed this?
It's been a pleasure, man. I mean, being here back at another international LAN event, it's amazing. I mean, everyone said it so far. You've heard it on repeat all day, but it's such a great experience and feeling to be here.
What's it been like, the vibe with the players as well? Obviously, you had a chance to kind of spend some time with them. The player lounge is right behind us as well. What's on the DL? What's been the kind of vibes amongst the players from your perspective?
Cold-blooded. Man, these guys are locked in, especially some of these EU players. Headphones on, listening to music. Yeah. They don't play around.
No, they are focused. What does this mean for the community as well? A competition like this, like FNCS Invitational, it seems it's been massively well received.
Dude, I mean, we've been waiting for this to happen. I mean, obviously COVID delayed things so much since World Cup, but it's such a great time to experience, like, see all the fans and see the whole community, the whole competitive scene all together in one area. It's awesome.
It's really awesome. And you're awesome too.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. One more time, give it up for Cease, everybody! What legend. Let's go back.
Cease, one of just the coolest people I think I've ever met. Got to hang out with him a couple times over Media Day. Legitimately one of the coolest people, so thankful that he could be here. I want to set the stage here for us. Once again, we take a look at the top 10 coming into this game. Now, please don't try to freak out. Your Brazilian team in 10th place. PH did. Kitos right now sitting on a tiebreaker. Vortexers and Bevies.
Look, I want to talk about this duo, Bejatin Kitos. They have 25 FNCS finals appearances. PH Zin alone has 4 FNCS championships, and Kitos with 1 for a total of 5 together. This is a duo that dominates their region, and seeing them in top 10 internationally on the stage, it's really something you love to see.
Yeah, they're no slouches as well. I've been doing a little bit of voting, having a little look at how they play, and oh boy, are they aggressive. They're very, very confident in the way they go about things, and of course, in endgame as well, they're looking strong. What they often do is they rotate towards the front side of the first moving zone just to get ahead of all the other players, and that's why we're seeing them really making the most of their materials, right? They don't have to build, they don't have to make those tarps into the front side because they're already there. It just shows that there's different strategies that maybe we haven't seen too much of that are really on show today.
That's right. We saw him in 8th place there, Scented and Edgy. Once again, Edgy always hitting that 2nd place. Now, of course, 2nd place is still absolutely incredible, but he wants that 1st place, and he wants to do it on a stage like this.
Look, but if he's able to keep getting 2nd places, and it's able to get them that trophy, I think it's okay, right? As long as you're able to consistently get those points, make your way up the leaderboard, it's what you want to see.
That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, here in Raleigh, North Carolina, y'all need to make some noise because this is the last game here of the day. This is game number 6 of the FNCS Invitational. Let's run it one more time. Here we go. Game number 6 is just moments away, and we get to close out this crazy day 1.
Yeah, and you're already seeing from game number 1 all the way till here, it is action-packed, and that action continues to improve, and continues to get better each and every game that we watch.
That's right, and listen, Fortnite is at its best when we get to see everyone go head-to-head from all of our favorite regions, but listen up. There is only one more round in front of us, which means there's no time to lose out now if you want to be set up for day 2.
Yeah, and honestly, if you didn't necessarily have the best day, don't worry, because game number 6 is about to start. And if you are at the bottom half of that leaderboard, it's not always how you finish. Or it's not always how you start, it's how you finish. And a lot of these teams, they can finish strong.
Well, listen up. Let's give it up one more time for Game 6 here for our players as we start to load onto this battle bus. Here we go.
Different bus path this time around, and a good chance for an off-spawn Cloudy Condos. 5 games we didn't see too much. Or 4 games we didn't see too much, but in that 5th game, that's when we saw a lot of activity. And it helped a team like Balabuka and Merstash, who wasn't necessarily in the fight. They got the surge, and they got out right away.
That's right. Well, listen up. As things start to get ready here and we settle in, looks like we're going to have to gear up this battle bus one more good time. And it wouldn't be a fun event if we didn't just give you a little bit more airtime from some of our favorite players while we were at it. So give us a moment here. Take a look at the focus of our players. Jacob, we have ourselves still one more game left today.
Yeah, and just take note, that victory royale there from Queasy was his 8th straight finals with a VR. That is impressive. That means Queasy and VRs go together in finals like peanut butter and jelly, spaghetti and meatballs. They are a duo, so you better watch out, Vino.
Not only that, Vino was talking about how NA East hasn't shown up. I was looking at that top 10. I saw 3 NA East teams on that top 10 leaderboard. But not only that, they are 3 contested NA East teams showing up. So there really has been some crazy performances and put-ups. But let's go and send on over to the analyst desk. Let's just continue to gear this thing. Thank you guys so much. Sorry about that. We're making sure all of our players are on that battle bus and ready to go. We cannot miss anyone on this pivotal game here in game number 6, the last one on the day. Now, if you're just tuning in, welcome. This is the FNCS Invitational. You've missed a lot, but hey, we're happy you're here now. And there's a lot to talk about, starting with Queasy and Vino. These guys have been absolutely running the EU region as of late. And now, after winning that last game, 11 eliminations, they are sitting pretty in first place.
I mean, they were the first duo to break the double-digit elim record at this tournament, right? Previously being 8 eliminations, but now 11 for this duo. I mean, they're playing very well.
Vino. Queasy and Vino, incredible. Well, let's talk about Vino, right?
Yes.
How good is this guy, right? We got 17 eliminations on the day today. That is the most of any individual player, and consistently, FNCS final after FNCS final, this guy is doing the most damage in the lobby. He is an incredible fragger. We can see it. 5,932 damage dealt. That's a lot of damage that he's outputting, and he's really helping. We saw it in that previous game. We saw the refreshes. He's helping them out so much, and when you have a high ground playstyle like they do, he's really putting on a show.
Yeah, and we've watched a lot of the moments, right, where, again, it's like Vino just says, oh, Queasy, you need me to go eliminate a threat? Yeah, man, I'm down. Like, let me just hop down there, get a bunch of refreshes, and bring all the stuff back, and then we're ready to go again. But I think, too, Vino has actually shown quite a bit of... he's evolved as a player, right? When Vino first hit the scene, he was just this like aggressive player. He's like, I want to W key every single person in my face. But now he understands, like, okay, this may not be the moment, but when that moment arrives, I promise you I will be knocking on your wall.
Look, not only having the strong mechanics, but also that strong mentality, it's what you need to be a top-tier professional player. But I want to see if any of these other duos are going to be able to contest the high ground as much as they have been doing, especially in day 2 with more time to adapt, right? We have duos like Alex and Bailey coming from OCE. I mean, at one point, I believe they had On Height in their name, right? Because of how much they like going for the high ground. So I'd like to see some more teams up there going for the clouds and seeing what they can really do.
But we mentioned it, right? Vino, his progression of play, I think his overall play style has developed so much, but it's also, he's got so much of a smarter player, right? He used to have his name as Tundra IGL. So he's not necessarily taking on the IGL role in this duo, but he has the brain to take it on.
That's right. Another duo sitting here in your top 10. It's Thomas HD and it's Tripper and Thomas HD. For those of you that have not followed the EU scene, if there is a sniper in the game, you might as well just rename that sniper to Thomas HD Sniper, because this guy does not miss, and if there's a sniper in his hands, he will find every single angle, even if it's a pixel on the screen, you're gonna take max damage.
And it shows. He has the most damage dealt out of any player here today, and if there were snipers in competitive currently, I'm sure he'd not only have the most damage, but also the most elims with those headshot snipes we'd like to see him get.
Yeah, it's interesting, because of course, Thomas HD is widely regarded as the best sniper, and we got a chance to talk to him. Me and Vivid, we were behind the scenes, and we spoke to him. We were like, Thomas, are you sad about the removal of sniper? You think that it's bad, but he was like, no, I love it. I think it's great. So he's adapting his playstyle. Not only is he incredibly good with snipers, also when they're not in the game, it enables them to get so many more surge tags. Of course, you can overpeak. You don't have to worry about getting that 200 damage to the head, because you can overpeak, and you can see it right now. They're getting the surge tags early on. They're getting the mid-game rotations perfectly on point, and they're playing the mid-ground layers as well. They just bounce off each other so well.
And I'm curious to see what they're thinking about now, right? Being in that top 3 spot with just Queasy and Vino right above them, right? It's all about figuring out what they can do to overcome their opponents, right? The consistency they need tomorrow to get the trophy. What will they change? What can they do? Or maybe they'll just, you know, keep playing the same, hope they make less mistakes, and that's all they have to do.
Yeah, I mean, we know Thomas HD is kind of one of those players that says, like, I have to be the best. And if I'm not the best, I will continue to grind until I am. You pair him up with Tripper, who's just mechanically insane. I mean, we've watched him shut down Malabuka, right? When he's in situations where he's by himself, he still finds points. He finds high placement. So it's cool to see these guys finally come together. They've been doing for like 3 seasons, 4 seasons since the beginning. I don't even know at this point.
I mean, that's another interesting fact to bring up, right? There's a lot of duos here that have been competing together. They're like brothers, right? They're like companions. And then we have other newly formed duos, right? King and Ed, first tournament competing together, and they kind of have that synergy disadvantage, right, that some of these other duos might have.
Yeah, it's definitely true, but it's not showing, of course. We can see them popping off every single time, particularly that Ed 1v2 clutch that we saw earlier on. I know the guys at the back there really liked that one. They were cheering a lot for that.
That's right, my friends. We're drawing ever closer. We're just counting heads, making sure everyone's on that bus, because once again, we don't want to leave anyone behind. We want to make sure everyone is here, ready to go. You can see it on their screens. They're getting prepared. And I just got to say, it's been an honor and a pleasure to be here with this amazing crowd here at the Raleigh Convention Center. You guys are just losing your minds, and that's what I love to see. That's right. We have 1 game left to go. And guess what? I'm getting word. It is that time. Game number 6 of the FNCS Invitational starts right now. Let's do it one more time here in Raleigh, North Carolina. It is game 6 of the FNCS Invitational. Jacob, we get to close out day 1 soon.
And this is going to be a huge closeout event 5 games, 5 different Victory Royale teams coming out on top, just going to show that it's honestly anyone's game at this point.
That's right, and we've seen so much new attempts and ways for this to all play out. We gave the players time to go ahead and think about how they want to strategize, but here it is. Let's see if it was all worth it. Game 6 is in front of us. Once again, let's make some noise for our players as they take board the battle bus.
And that time that you were talking about for preparation has run out. Everybody now taking their position on the map. We've seen wonders over towards Chrome Jam Junction. We've seen so many fights go down towards Fort Jonesy as well. But honestly, interesting enough, neither of them involved these 2 teams going at it off spawn.
Not only that, the coast has 2 teams as well, so there's so much going on in this area, and we've seen it play out a few times now, round after round, but this is a first take at Clix and Duke not necessarily being right on top of their opponents, pinking and off there. They've given each other some space, and this is, you know, honestly, last game vibes are here. It just makes sense. Everyone wants to take it slow and try to play this one out.
Yeah, that's respect to them, too, because they know the position that each of them are in. You know what I mean? If you go ahead and take that fight and it doesn't go well for either one of you, that's kind of throwing away that game. So they want to split the loot and try to get more on their path to the center of the zone. But just like very many games before, we're going to have a little bit of a northern zone, which looks like it bode well for Queasy and Vino yet again.
Can you believe Smite and Larson are in 3rd place being contested at the Grim Gables? What a way to play some Fortnite today for them. It looked like it was all over when you viewed the paper and you crunched the numbers, but they have really turned all that lemon into lemonade.
Yeah, I believe they lost game number 1, but I think that was the game 1 jitters of an international stage.
That's right.
First in-person Fortnite event in quite a long time. They shake those off, and they're rising to the occasion. NA East, best hope right now to close out day number 1 with a top spot. You can see Vico over towards Reality Tree. Lost Bride pretty early, and that was Retake and Novice who also land over here.
Hey, listen, I'm from the Bronx. I know all about being scrappy. Vico and Moran are clawing their way out of the mud here, officially breaking back into top 20 with those 2 elims right there. That's a big point swing for them. It's going to mean all the difference. What's wild about these 2-day formats is anything can happen right now. We have seen teams just in this bubble area range jump all the way back up. You have to stay consistent. Larson and Smite get defended off of their drop effectively. They're pushed out by Muzz and Looter. So that fight will continue. We jump on over to Savage and iDrop versus Bakken on 1.
Not that 50-50 we saw before. This one's going to be a little bit prolonged, and I think that kind of sits a little bit better for iDrop and Mr. Savage, simply because iDrop knows this POI like the back of his hand. He knows exactly where to get the loot. He knows where a lot of the chests are. He knows every single thing, and he also knows any pathing in order to disengage in a lot of these fights, but it does look like the TSM duo, Epic Well, strikes first, taking down Scented.
That's a big elimination right there, as well as Scented and Cold, and one of the few NA East teams inside of that top 10, and for them to fall to the hands of Epic Whale just around the Tilted Towers is definitely not a part of the plan. Marine finds Falconer in the feed there, but Peterbot and Jamper looking to continue their battle here. We talked about these contested coastal battles, and now we get to see it unfold for the first time from the beginning.
Going up against Jace and Basil. So this is going to be an interesting one, because sooner or later you cannot continue to go down. The chest is down there, and that's where Basil's at, and he's actually just trying to get out. He's trying to escape. You already know that he lost his teammate, trying to do wonders as a solo and finish off the day strong, because that's the thing. FNCS NA East Chapter 3 Season 3. After day 1, Commandment and Avery were in 9th place. Day number 2, they had the comeback for the Avery to take the top spot, as Peterbot takes the elimination, but flies high through the sky, just a little too high. The shots are coming in. He's finally able to land on his 2 feet and try to stabilize.
That's what Peterbot is known for. R1 and Baka, though, fight back here. The last time they won their drop, they turned that into a monstrous endgame, and now they're clawing back in. Savage already down. iDrop.
Can they do it? Baka
in the mix here. Actually, Savage is on the run right now.
Oh, he's going to be able to get out alive, but do On1 and Baka want to chase him. There's so many other teams in the mix as well, including Brazil's very own King and Ed, who where they're at in the leaderboard right now, they want to start getting aggressive. They want to take the game into their own hands.
Ed and King here, trying to do something big. We haven't quite seen them put up the numbers on showed yet. You can see right there, King attempts to hit some shots, but does fall slightly short. And now options in front of him. Does he go for the duo below? But no, instead he's going to go and hunt down the solo. This is by far the better play, but the reboot is starting to come out for Mr. Savage. Will he get eye drop in time? King arrives just there to maybe play spoiler.
But again, this fight over towards Cloudy, it's those same two teams, while Malibuca and Mustache are always trying to find an angle so that way they can get the damage they need for Storm Surge and try to get out alive. And I think Ed even found Peppo somewhere, but no, they're actually chasing down Mr. Savage, and they're going to clean that one up. That is huge.
And King get their first 2 eliminations onto Mr. Savage and eye drop here in game number 6. Huge deal for him right there. And lucky for us, we are hot on the replay. Take a look there, out the sky. Ed wastes no time. He says, King, you might have missed some shots before, but I got your back.
That was a huge outside-of-the-box play. They could have easily pushed Mr. Savage, got the elimination, and got 2 points. Done. Over with. Easy. They allowed Mr. Savage to get the reboot off, got the elimination on eye drop, got the elimination onto Mr. Savage, and got 4 points instead of 2.
That's right. Way to play big there, and they need it.
Big brain
now,
play.
Back to Larson and Smite. They could have left this battle, but they've won so many times already. They decide, hey, let's stick around, let's fight Muzz and Looter. Ooh, a big 86 on Looter as he tries to go on up. Smite was waiting with the side angle there. Larson now has just enough time to get back with Smite. They're going to be trading minis here. As you saw, Larson's inventory was definitely short. Here it is, that little exchange, the material count too.
And honestly, if you're Smite and Larson, though, winning every single one of these fights except for game number 1, you have no reason to leave. It's up to Muzz and Looter to try to change up their plan while you have a hot Larson and Smite on their heels. Zagu is going one-on-one with Hellfire. This is for a huge finish for Zagu because right now they've skid just a little bit down low on the leaderboard, more than they would like.
And what's crazy about this is how the region plays. This is how Asia gets down. They will W key. They play aggressive, they play fast Fortnite. And although it has been a day of performance and endgames for Zagu and Marine, this is where he does best. Put him in a one-on-one, put him in a head-to-head, and look at how quick he is able to capitalize. No, shots come in from the distance. It's not looking good. He's going to have to pause down here. He does have some white heals, but that will kill all the momentum, unfortunately. It's Commandment and Avery with a dual angle here.
You can see where this strategy, landing over towards Rave Cave. They're trying to go to the slower side of zone. They're trying to go as far north as possible, but they're going to go east first before they make that happen, trying to clean up a quick elimination, or what they think could be a quick one at that, but the shots continue to come in. Storm doing work as well. It's only a matter of time as Hellfire is going to be able to clean that one up.
Hellfire slides in and down goes Japan's best there. Zagu and Marine sent back to the lobby, back to the drawing board to rethink for day number 2 of the FNCS Invitational. That's how quickly things can change.
Yeah, Hen was already down. Now they're just trying to find the second half of that duo. Joe and Zandy, one of 5 teams to get a VR on the day. But Vico somehow took down Avery. They were waiting. They were trying to hunt down the team, and it was them who ended up getting hunted. But Joe and Zandy, they don't want to let this team out of their sight. They have at least 1 elimination against players from 6 different regions. That's the most of any duo, and that goes to show how adaptable they truly are.
That is right. Vortex is a solo. As we touched on, Hen is out the lobby. You can see the look of focus on his face here. He recognizes, oh, big read there. He finds a med kit right in the nick of time. He should get it off with about 2 HP left. That's going to be a huge save for him. Meanwhile, Sensen and Cold now making their move. Like we said before, they have been somewhat contested, right? Their draw spot. Maybe not going head-to-head against Pars and Raze there, but possibly trading out some moves. You can see it kind of coming into effect here as the loadout's very much not quite where you want it to be.
And that's Acorn and Edgy sitting on top of the blimp, being that nuisance as Cold and Sensen. They have to rotate right back in the way they came from. See if we can make it happen. They're actually taking some elevation right now. This could be huge.
Oh. Very interesting for them to go up to high ground here. This is such a risk, right? But of course, we never really know. They want some of that loot. Look at that. They get to the vault. They steal some leftover loot. That's going to be a huge situation here. Meanwhile, Muzz and Looter. You get to see a replay here. Remember, this is up against Smite and Larson, and Muzz turns this around. Third place, Smite and Larson now effectively dropped.
Yeah, for them, though, you got to give them credit. 128 points on the day. They've done wonders. And now they get to sit back, relax, collect their thoughts, and plan for day number 2 while everybody else is kind of going through this minefield of chaos, which is game number 6. And like I said, from game number 1, where you have 95 players alive when Storm Surge activated, the lobby is now feeling themselves out. They're feeling a little bit more comfortable to try to attack in these moments. Tripper to Thomas sitting on top of the blimp, just trying to get the Storm Surge, so that way when they do find another rotation, eventually it's going to be their focus, where they don't have to go ahead and hunt the damage. They can go ahead and do exactly what they want when they want.
Let's take a look at Yumi and Cool here on the move. Some of our greats from NA West right now, they have really represented today.
They did.
They have found their moments.
I'm proud.
They've caught their highlights.
Panda's probably proud of the crowd too.
Oh yeah.
Cold and Sentin now changing their rotation yet again. Don't want to go through Acorn and Edgy anymore. They got the heals that they wanted out of the vault, and now they're trying to find another way around. And for them, they need scraps. They are in shambles right now, and there's another team right in front of them. They spotted them out, and that would have been a great sneak attempt coming out from Sentin and Cold, but now they have to think of plan B.
It's crazy. Cole gets caught out by Thomas HD. Thomas HD, Mr. 6,000 damage coming into game 6 here and adding to the chart here. Joe FN's going to be the victim of a few shots there, but not enough for Sentin to claw out of this tough situation he is in. Now, mind you, NA's third place Larson and Smite are down. Cold and Sentin were in 5th coming into this, and it's looking very, very grim now.
Yep, the only other NA East team in there is going to be Acorn and Edgy, who came into this game in 8th place, but in the distance, Sentin sees Babs and Snack. He sees Joe and Z Andy trying to get his Storm Surge damage up while being in the storm without any heals, but luckily enough, his escape plan, you can already see it. It is going to be that launch pad.
He's playing a very dangerous game here. He's already been tagged for whites there. There it is. He doubles back now, protects himself as well. There's a med kit.
Okay.
He knew that.
Try to get Sentin's card, likely.
There it is. Okay. Time to med off. He will have enough time. Will he play for the reboot is the true question. We'll find out soon. On the other side, Zeet and KBR are still alive right now. 39 above. They're looking pretty solid. Zeddy finds Jamper in the feed. Peterbot goes down too. So that's had to be an Eastern edge zone rotate that just did not go their way.
Yeah, and that south side of the zone right now is just going to become so congested. You're going to have to figure out another way to try to rotate around as Chicho's trying to find some damage. Barely gets above the damage threshold. Gets a knock on the Rapid in the distance as well. And you see some other shots coming through. They know that that player is under pressure. Now the lobby is now taking hands to try to take him out all together. Bevies is now joining the fray along with Vortexers as well. Andalix has his back up against the wall. He's trying to survive. And Alex and Bailey are also rotating in. It's going to be such a hard way for him to try to survive.
This is such a tough spot to be in right now as it's all going down. Our 10th plate PH Zen looks like he falls in the feed there too. It's looking extremely desperate now for Brazil right now in this last game. Here's Booga on the other side of Anas and Pink's wall. They're going to heal up. Eyes on Mirror and Booga, but no, they want to get out of here. This is a little too dicey for them now. Lopad's going to get them right to the safe zone. Pretty decent. It's a great spot to be in right now. They're okay on the surge, but they could use a refresher here. Plenty of options up to be served as well. Hellfire looks like he found Avery. Hellfire was a solo in the zone way north as Commandment and Avery were pointing inwards. And look, Avery fully finished there. The surge possibly finishing the deal.
Yeah, that's not good. You can kind of see why they rotated out of Rave Cave, trying to third party some of those fights, but they ended up getting snuck on, which probably turned their entire story around as Booga and Miro trying to get in towards the zone. Focus of the lobby begins. Can Booga try to survive? 43 HP and a dream. Miro's there to try to alleviate some of the pressure, and it does look like it's going to stop.
That was tough. Very, very close right there. Usually when that happens, it's all over, but luckily the teams decided, nah, it's the last game. I can't burn all my resources if I cannot pick up the loot, so everyone slows down. For Taste and Chapix, they are very much comfortable right now. No pressure on them, but there's a lot of players in this vicinity here. Movement, little scarce.
Kanata, Macwood over there, Pars and Rays surviving as well. Cammy and Seti trying to take that top spot back. You hear the analysts, they're having great games, and then they're kind of having a little slip-ups here and there. But luckily for them, this is day number 1. As long as you keep it competitive, you'll be in the mix. And look at our top 4. Top 4 is all EU right now, Monster.
That is right. 21 points for Cammy and Seti to catch up to Vino and Queasy. But that top 3 is just European territory right now. Vino, Queasy, Thomas HD, Trippern, and of course Cammy and Seti all fighting for that top 3 currently. It's what you expect. We've seen a lot of our community folk really put those 3 up in the standings and wait for them not to let down the fans, right?
I think Malabuka Mustache might be low on Storm Surge. Yet again, being one of the 3 teams over towards Cloudy Condos. Nobody really going at it off of spawn, but a team that doesn't have much to worry about. You saw them high at the top of the blip, Acorn and Edgy, almost 500 above. They're just picking and choosing their battles, trying to figure out what the right play is going to be.
And it does make you wonder, although Malabuka and Mustache are contested, being below the surges means that, hey, that first game was a wake-up call. We can't just go battle. Aqua and crew will just come in third party. But look at this. Fatch finds Malabuka there. That's a huge one. And now we get to see Ed and FaZe King's perspective here. King from Argentina, Ed from Brazil. Right here, right now, 2 elims already potentially going head-to-head against On1 in Baka. The young duos from NA West. No, the peak, the punishment. Down goes Baka.
Is this going to be able to get it, though? Doesn't look like in the minimap that they're going over. So, yeah, you are correct. He is going to get a second chance at life as On1 is placed in the top 10 in every FNCS final he has played in. Trying to put NA West on his back along with Yumi and Cool, Fabs and Snacky. So many top competitors in this tournament still, and this is only day number 1.
Down to Vidil, 120 below, make it 60 now. They do need a little bit more damage. It's gonna continue to fluctuate. Vigo finds Baka, down goes On1 as well. Vigo just cleans that up. Meanwhile, Kanata and Macwood, they started off so hot, and now all of a sudden they are in a world of trouble here, surrounded by some of Europe's most dangerous here on this south side of the zone. But hey, they have time, they have plenty to work with here. It shouldn't get too sketchy just yet. If they can keep a low profile for a while, they'll survive to the next moving zone or the half in, half out reveal. Here's a look at 3rd, 4th, 5th. 6th and 7th are down, 5th is down.
Hey, that's a blessing for some and a curse for others. For the teams from 8th and below, this is their chance to really close the gap in the final game.
That's all of NA East out in Game 6.
That hurts just a little bit. Just a little bit, but still got Acorn and Edgy still alive. Catching one on to Joe. Janice is going to be left as a solo. As Video does get knocked in that moment. That's Taze and that's Chapix that are hot on the heels. But pressure is coming from all sides for a lot of these teams. And even Macwood and Kanata are trying to put some shots on to Tayson and Chapix. You see Janice trying to break through. He is that solo that we were looking at. Trying to survive. Video finally goes down. Janice still knocking on the door. Storm Surge taking him down, but Tayson gets the last laugh.
And in the end, it's going to mean 4 eliminations for Tayson and Chapix. They absolutely needed it. They were slipping so far behind, well outside that top 20 bubble. Way to make a hero's effort push in Game 6 to set yourself up for a good day 2, but they still have a long road in front of them. They have to close out this round. The zone is going to pull far northeast. It's on a little piece of a zone, so if you have that mountaintop just right there, you're going to be in a sound and strong position for Edgy and Acorn. They'd be some of the last to jump on over. And we said we want to see Epic Whale and Reed. They're just above sitting down, so this might be their game. But first, Vino and Queasy have to show us why they're in the lead.
And they don't really have to do anything here. Look at the loot right now. They're on the edge of zone. They have some high ground. All these players flying through the sky. Easy shots. You're just like serving it up on a silver platter for a team that has been playing this good. but only 7 damage below the threshold.
And let me tell you something, this is not bad for a team that lands north and then has this half in, half out pull north. It makes a big difference when you are already positioned there and this comes your way. Now they just have to worry about damage management and closing out this last game, but you can see Tripper and Thomas HD are there as well. They have that same story. They are very much close by. Here's our high ground kings. Reet, an epic whale, the 6X, and of course Reet, a multi-FNCS winner himself. Going head-to-head against Refsguard right now. They're starting to crank up, but Reet does not want to give it up, not just yet. He jumps down. This is what he does best, is take those fights, but no, plays a little smarter. He has to play for the end game.
And I saw Pink and Anas go down to Pars. He's finally starting to heat up. Tayson gets another one. Kanata as well. Refguard as a solo stole Hideaway from the TSM duo. That is absolutely insane right now. But you got to take note of where they actually landed, though. They still landed at a high enough layer so they can take it back at a moment's notice.
Just need to evaluate the situation. No need to burn material this early. Smart play is the best play. Vino with a huge tag there. Shield crack there. That's going to go ahead and get him a little excited. But Acorn and Edgy now revealed themselves to his layer as well. He's not too happy about that one. And you see him back up just a second there. Meanwhile, Refsguard on high ground by himself, just looking down here, enjoying the view, but 130 damage is what he needs. He gets 4 tags, that's great, but not enough. Here comes the big drop, and he hits it, okay. He stays in the game.
Almost seeing his life flash before his eyes, just a few centimeters in the wrong direction. He goes down, he goes out, but Queasy and Vino are trying to go up. They're trying to take the game by storm, and they get it, Monster. They got the high ground for now.
But it's not for free. They do have a duo on their heels. Who is it? It's Refsguard, who tried to fight for it, but he is not going to be successful this time around. High ground can get you one thing that we know for sure, and that's amazing placement if you can ride it out. When you're a solo like that, that was an excellent attempt. But now, back into the heat of things. Seti, Cammy, 2 Elims, another end game. And their biggest threat, Tripper and Thomas HD is alive. Acorn and Edgy, NA East's last hope potentially in this lobby, still in the run.
Saw threats go down to the bottom half of the map. That's Trulex and Chicho take him down. Kanata falls as well. Ed's gonna get one. Queasy Vino trying to go ahead and put themselves outward so they can continue that damage. Seats a solo stuck in the outside of zone. 4 floppers to work with. The Siphon comes through onto Ed. This is an opportunity for him to pick out placement points while being outside of the zone.
Not only that, Clicks is still alive too, but here's Tayson. Tayson's gonna fall inside the storm now. It's up to Acorn and Edgy making their way out the outskirts here. Look at the clean rotate here from Acorn. He is just exceptional, but we get to jump into Duke. 200 HP, now down to 72, make it less than that. It's not looking good. From 0 to hero, he's trying to claw his way into this. They find a player on the edge. No Elim there. Duke has to fight back, and down he goes, and it is all over. And once again, we might be seeing our first team who is setting up for a back-to-back.
Back-to-back, that is going to leave them with all the confidence in the world to end day 1 and go into day 2. They have 10 eliminations onto Vico from the low ground. He's trying to have a comeback for the ages to close out day number 1. Shots onto Tripper, a huge amount of damage. He drops him down as well, but goes down altogether. Valiant effort by Vico.
It is a worst-case scenario for Thomas HD because his biggest threat is on high ground, but Reet is fighting back. Reet takes down Queasy on height. He is turning this around and trying to turn this into potentially a solo game. Meanwhile, Thomas finds Watts. Thomas still alive, and Reet falls there in the end. Look at Thomas holding the low ground. Chicho's right next to him. Trulix hurts him too, but Vino has the grip of height. Acorn waiting on the side. Out of builds, he's gonna have to come down too. It's all over. The gas tank is empty. Down he goes. And now, off to Seti.
It's Cammy and Seti, the only duo left, and they find another one. Vino trying to put wonders. 1v2 situation. What can he do here to take home the big prize and end with back-to-back victory royales to end the day? But a team looking to take first place back. Cammy and Seti, and they try to steal it away by getting that VR to end game 6.
And they get the first game. They get the last game of day 1. What a story for Cammy and Seti. Becoming legends must be so proud right now of these players. They put in the hard work, they put in the effort, and wait to watch it pay off.
that is huge for them because they're not like a lot of these other teams who are consistently fighting to get to the top of the leaderboard. They play their play style through and through from the drop spot all the way to the end game. They're one of the few teams, time and time again, that has their own spot. They call it the Cammy split, and it works out every single season.
And now they get to take that victory lap to center stage, where they will be greeted by Adam Savage for a quick update. And Adam, please tell me how they do it.
Right now, they're looking mighty fine. Give it up for Cammy and City! GG's, boys! 2 victory royales out of 6 games at FNCS Invitational. That must feel amazing.
Yeah, it's really amazing.
It's really amazing. Talk us through, you saw there that we had Queasy and Vino on the high ground. We saw Queasy went down, Vino was solo. When you saw that happen, was there an opportunity for you guys to get your way in and win that game?
Yeah, but we didn't want to take the high ground because we wanted to get more kills on low ground. That's why we stayed low. And
Gotcha.
Yeah.
In terms of today and the 6 games, has it played out as you both thought coming into this, or have things been very different?
Like, we died 2 games to Surge. Like, we planned everything differently, but it didn't went as we planned it.
We just adapted. I think we just adapted well, and going into tomorrow, we're going to be more confident and more prepared. So, yeah.
Talking of preparation for tomorrow, what do you do now? Do you go back and review VODs? Do you kind of work on strategy, or do you relax?
Like, I think relax and VOD review.
Tomorrow, a big day, 6 more games. Could Cammy and Seti go all the way and win FNCS Invitational?
Of course.
Of course they go. Give it up for Cammy and Seti! Your game 6 winners! Let's go back to Zeke and the gang. Jinquin.
I made this joke. Game 1 of the FNCS Invitational. Cammy and Seti are living their life on repeat right now. They've done this dance before, right? This happened at DreamHack. They win game 1, they win game 6, they stay on top. For Cammy and Seti, all of EU right now is thinking this is it. We are the best.
Look, EU is on top right now, but Cammy and Seti, they're gonna have a stressful night. It ended on a high note, it started on a high note, but with the history of Cammy and Seti, having 2 back-to-back good days is a curse that we haven't seen too often. So I'd be really happy to see them continue this momentum forward from this last match into day 2.
Yeah, and Seti said it himself, right? They're really, really adaptable. They're adapting very, very well, and that's what I like to see from this team. What I've noticed about the way that they play and the way that they sort of carry themselves, they don't get down after a bad game. You know, we saw, as they said, 2 bad games. Surge wasn't quite looking too good for them, but look at that. They come back. They make the changes that are required to bring them up in the leaderboard, and you can see it's working out.
Yeah, right now they're holding, right? They're not in that first place spot, and of course, as they talked about, they were eliminated 2 games to Surge, right? And they identified those issues, and now we see the correction in game 6, a Victory Royale, right? So, to your point, Okada, tomorrow they come back stronger. We can see them win it all.
Look, the tricky part is they did adapt very quickly and effectively in that last match. They had a difficult mid-section of the tournament, but the thing is now overnight, those duos that didn't have the best day 1 will also change. They'll also adapt, and maybe the adaptation that Cammy and Seti had for this last match won't be valid in day 2.
We will find out. Right now, we have Kelly standing by with the duo in first place. Kelly, take it away.
Everyone, I am joined by Vino and Queasy, our first place team out of day 1. All right, so this is a stat that was happening, I think, even before game 6 was going on, but you had the most solo eliminations with 17 elims. I'm sure that is even more now. How do you do it?
I'm the best player in the world.
I love it. I love the confidence. But how do you know when to go for the elimination and when to, like, step back?
It's nice having a balance. It's good having a balance. We have chugs, so a lot of the time when we're playing high ground, I can drop back and look for kills, especially when I have the Ranger shotgun because of the range on it. And that's when you can at least get a lot more kills. And I used the Ranger shotgun really well the other game. I got a kill on the Asia team, Zagu, I think. And that led us to winning that game.
I mean, obviously, it's not just winning you the game, but it's also winning you the whole tournament right now. Queasy, after that VR in Game 5, to almost do it again in Game 6 as well. I mean, obviously, you're going into day 2 pretty confident.
Yeah, of course. I mean, the lobby is not that hard. I feel like we should have been way better than we are right now.